Thank you for tuning in. I'm Mikelle Bryson-Campbell, Executive Director of the Sarnia Lambton Workforce Development Board. I'm thrilled to be joined here today with Laura Greaves, owner of Great Lakes Refill. Welcome, Laura.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. So let's jump right in. I'm so interested to hear about your journey as owner of Great Lakes Refill. So tell me a little bit about yourself and Great Lakes Refill.
So Great Lakes Refill was founded in 2018. They started out as one of the vendors in a larger market, and that first year, 2018, went very well for them. They sold bulk soaps, which today still remains one of our best sellers. Laundry detergent is the best seller by far. But so they started out as in a market setting, and that went very well for them for the first year. So in 2019, they opened up their own retail space. Then in 2023, so exactly 2 years ago, I took over the store. I did not have any experience in retail or owning my own business, but I was a customer of theirs and I always loved the store. And I guess when I was looking for a change, I just decided this was something that really interested me, and I took the leap to become a business owner.
Wow, super. I hadn't realized that they had started really in the soap, selling soaps, and you've expanded quite a bit since then. I'm just envisioning along the way you must have learned so much and maybe encountered some challenges along the way. Any that you'd like to share?
Sure. So it's interesting you should say that, because I think in retail, one of the hardest parts of retail is ordering. So deciding which products to bring in, interviewing new vendors to determine if it's going to be a good fit for you or not. So yes, they started out with the soaps, laundry detergent, hand soap, dish soap, shampoo, conditioner, those kinds of things. When they moved into the new retail location, they also brought in bulk food. So those two sides of the business have been there since 2019, since they've had the retail location. I think for me, what maybe is unique about what happened to me is buying another business. I took over, I wanted to, I think in the beginning, do things exactly the same way that the old owners did it. It was working well for them. So trying to decide what new things to introduce, making decisions about what things they were carrying that I think were, not selling well. When you're talking about food, you're dealing with best before dates. So if there were things that came to their best before date and I didn't sell them in time, I, decided not to bring them back in again. So I think for at least the first year, I was very cautious about introducing anything new. And it was a bit, customers are always asking about new products and you have to kind of make decisions about that. This last year, I think I've definitely opened up more to the possibility of bringing in new products. So, I've worked hard to introduce some new things, not get rid of the old things that customers loved, but to, I guess, expand a little bit within the same retail footprint. So that's been nerve-wracking and scary, but also very exciting, especially when it's gone well. So maybe one example, there's lots of examples of new things I've brought in, but I've had a customer who's been asking me for a long time about yogurt. And I had been trying very hard to find a local supplier of dairy products. And, it took me a little bit more than a year, but I'm happy to say we have a local dairy supplier now. That customer is obviously very thrilled, but so many other customers now are also buying those dairy products. So again, very nerve-wracking and scary to introduce a new product. But it, so far anyways, has turned out very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. So that's really interesting, and thinking about kind of starting from the ground up and learning as you're going. With your expansion and that you're offering education sessions some evenings, and so I'm just so curious, how did you learn what works? How do you know what you know?
That is a really hard question. I think it's just you have to be willing to try it out and see how it goes. You have to be willing to fail, I guess. If you don't try it, you'll never know if it's going to work or not. I mean, there's some things you can do in terms of reaching out to customers and having conversations with them, doing some market research. There's other things you can do, but in the end, you're not going to know if it's going to work for your business at this time unless you give it a go and see if it's gonna fly or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of, learning what works, anything in the community that you utilize to help you along the way?
So in my first year of business, I accessed a Main Street grant. That was very valuable for me. I used it to do some upgrades to my website. I think, I have primarily my footprint is foot traffic, but also people like to do a lot of research online, even if they're not doing purchases online. So I knew I needed to have some upgrades done to my website. And so I was really happy to be able to use that money for that. And then I did a video. So speaking of, recording videos, about a year ago, I guess it would have been, I did a video about the store, which I think was also really helpful too. Nerve-wracking and, nervous, but really was helpful and good for me too. And then this past summer, I had a grant from the federal government to hire a summer student, which I was really happy about. So I have a team of 4 that's kind of there all of the time, and we're all a little older, and it was so lovely to be able to bring a young person into the store, hear their opinions, hear from them what they like and don't like, what they'd like to see changed, and just to kind of have like a young person around. Right. So I was really, really excited to be able to have that financial support over the course of the summer. And then on the flip side of that, also it meant I could take away a little bit of time, because I think that's one of the things about being a business owner is it's really, really hard to step away, and you always feel like you have to be there. And I mean, in many cases, that's absolutely true. But it was nice to have that kind of extra body over the summer to be able to take a little bit of extra time off.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be one of the difficulties, of owning your own business, is finding that balance. And did you experience that? Finding that balance was difficult?
I'm not sure I've perfected it yet. That's certainly true. But yes, I think it's possible to set limits and be clear about things. And can I say that for me, what's worked out the best is having a really great team and knowing that when I'm not in the store that I trust 100% that they know what they're doing, that they will make the decisions that need to be made, because you can't always foresee everything that's going to come up. And just to know that I trust whatever decision they make, it was the right decision to make in the time. And I can pick up where they left off when I'm back in the store. So just to know that I kind of have that peace of mind when I'm not there.
Right, and I'm sure that's so important to sort of walk away and have that freedom to know that things are being taken care of as well.
Right.
So
yes,
that's great.
That mental break.
Great, absolutely, yeah. I guess it would be a bit more difficult if you didn't have that to walk away at the end of the day and lock the doors, and you'd go home and still think of it and want to do more.
Absolutely, and can I say, when you are running a business all by yourself and you don't have a team, I think that is very, very difficult to do. And that's a really nice thing about when you grow, to kind of be able to have that ability either to bring on a team or even just to outsource some of the things that you don't want to do yourself. So in the first year, I would say I tried to do everything, all of the financials, all of the marketing, all of the HR, be in the store all of the hours that it was opened. And I quickly realized you can burn out very quickly doing that.
Sure.
And also, I didn't love doing all of the things. So, sometime around the end of the first year, I stepped back and I said, what are the things about running the business that I love doing? And can I make sure that I'm doing those? And what are the things that I love less? And can I access some other support, whether it's another business that can take it on, or other members of my team who can help out with it, whatever that might look like.
Right.
Just to be able to do the things that I love to do and not be, spending time doing the stuff that I don't love doing.
Right, absolutely. And were you able to find all the outsourcing services you needed here?
Yeah, I think for sure. We have, our community is, there's so much talent here. There's so many other amazing small businesses. So I get to see it on the side as in terms of my vendors. I love working with so many different local businesses to be able to sell their things in my store, but certainly relying on those businesses that provide supports in the community is invaluable also.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been wonderful. I've just loved learning about your journey and everything that's happening at Great Lakes Refill. It's just been fascinating. So one final question. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs looking to start a business?
So I think for me, the big learning in this past year has been really celebrating the successes. So when things go well, sometimes I certainly have a tendency, and I think other business owners do too, to jump to the next thing, the next challenge, the next hill, the next hurdle, to really stop and step back and say, what went really well here? Can I do this again? And just really take in that it was something that went really well. So one of the things that we've done lately that I introduced that the old owners hadn't done was open house events. So in the first year we did one in the spring, and this year we did a spring one and a fall one, and just such a nice chance to bring people in the store, current customers, people that haven't been in there before, just to come in a very low pressure, relaxing environment, have some fun, meet some people, eat some food, and just, check out the store, and, like I said, in a really relaxed way. I think after the first time I did it, and even the second time, it was always like, okay, so now what's the next event? Plan the next event. I think now I'm trying to remind myself, step back, review what went well, but also just celebrate how great it was. Thank my team who worked so hard to make all of these things possible too. But yeah, celebrate all the successes, even the little ones, even the ones that maybe it's not a success, but it's not a failure. Really, really be in tune to all of that stuff, because I think it can go by so quickly, and that's, half of what it's about, I think.
Absolutely, that's great advice. So thank you very much. And thank you all for joining in to hear Laura Greaves, owner of Great Lakes Refills here in Sarnia Lambton.